So nowadays, a lot of games have AI involved in some way in the game development process, and in some ways, obviously, it's in kind of a small way, and in other instances, it's in a very large way. I don't think we're quite at the point yet that a lot of people talk about how these games are just going to be 100% made with AI. Oh, but that's coming, okay? That's probably on the horizon at some point. But yeah, obviously, there's a lot of different ways that you can use AI in game development. It's kind of led to kind of getting rid of the very boring, repetitive kind of coding. At least a lot of game developers say that this is the big advantage of AI, and then they could focus creatively on making their game better rather than actually like making AI be responsible for the creative aspect of their game. And I don't know if you've noticed, but lately, nowadays, you have this made with AI label that Steam slaps onto the game. Basically, any game that in some way has AI generated content. I got this from Arc Raiders, for example. You have to scroll kind of to the bottom, but it says the developers describe how their game uses AI generated content like this. So for Arc Raiders, it says during the development process, we may use procedural and AI based tools to assist with content creation. In all such cases, the final product reflects the creativity and expression of our own development team. And to my best knowledge, these created with AI labels are quite a new thing, and I believe they are the result of a lot of people saying that they want to be able to distinguish games that are made with AI versus games that are not. There's definitely quite a big group of people who are very negative toward the whole AI thing in terms of game development. They don't think that it should be involved at all in game development. They feel that it takes away jobs. So for those folks, you slap this made with AI tag on it, and then you're just gonna avoid a game that has that, I would think that's kind of the thought process anyway. Well, anyway, the Epic Games CEO actually went out and commented on this, allegedly, and I say allegedly because it looks like this post on Twitter or X has now been deleted, but this is from Video Games Chronicle. It says, earlier this month, X user Matt Workman posted, and actually I'll just go right to the post here. This has not been deleted, but yeah, this was on November 13th, so Matt, he says, Steam and all digital marketplaces need to drop the made with AI label. It does not matter anymore. As you can see, this got quite a bit of attention, 1.2 million views. Now, the Epic CEO, Tim Sweeney, I looked on his X page. I also looked at all of the replies under this post by Matt Workman. I couldn't find anything from Tim Sweeney, so maybe this has since been deleted, but according to Video Games Chronicle, it says Sweeney, he found the post on Wednesday, so this is just about 3 days ago on November 26th, and he replied to it saying he agreed with Workman because, in his opinion, AI will be used in so many games in the future that its presence will almost go without saying. So he said, agreed. The AI tag is relevant to art exhibits for authorship disclosure and to digital content licensing marketplaces where buyers need to understand the rights situation. It makes no sense for game stores where AI will be involved in nearly all future production. Also, it says when another person replied to Tim Sweeney and said that the customers deserve to know about AI being involved in a game development, Tim Sweeney replied, why stop at AI use? We could have mandatory disclosures for what shampoo brand the developers use. Customers deserve to know, LOL. Yeah, so Tim Sweeney is definitely taking the stance that AI in game development is, in the future anyway, going to be so common that the tag is pretty much going to be irrelevant. Why put it on like maybe 95% or 99% of games in the future if it's just going to be on, the vast majority of them? And here's the thing, I see a lot of negativity toward AI. I'm probably going to get a lot of people saying they disagree with this, but I totally agree with Tim Sweeney here. Going forward, AI really is going to be a center part of game development, whether people like it or not. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, for game developers, especially for small ones, it kind of is a good thing. It's a very good tool. I get that people are negative about it. They say that it can take jobs. I do understand that. And people are going to see Tim Sweeney as just, a greedy CEO or whatever, but I do agree with him. This is the future. As I kind of mentioned earlier, I think the made with AI tag was just kind of the result of a group of people who are very negative toward AI, and Steam and maybe other game platforms that do that just kind of caved and said, okay, this is what we'll do to compromise, I guess. But overall, it's just not going to be extremely relevant as we get into, say, 2030 or the year 2040 or 2070. AI is definitely going to be used, whether in a large way or in a small way, in in the majority of pretty much all game development going forward. I think especially for indie devs too, like it's just going to save a ton of time, a ton of money, manpower, stuff like that. It can be a very good tool. People can focus on the creative side of development rather than the tedious sort of mundane coding stuff. But that's just what I think. I mean, I'm not a game developer, and at the end of the day, I guess I don't really think it's a bad thing that people can just know if AI is used in different game development. I think more transparency is never a bad thing. I just think that, yes, Tim Sweeney is probably right. Going forward, it's probably going to be quite irrelevant.